Okay, guys. So now we're heading off into the new section of smash passing. If you haven't went back and understood the essentials of smash passing, please go and do so before you get into the actual curriculum of smash passing. When we get into our default position, remember the essentials. When I get ready to smash pass, I want you to think of this as being the jab of everything that we're going to do within our passing curriculum. It is going to be the jab to set up all the combos. When I get into this position, I'm going to look in the same direction that I want to smash pass from. My left leg is going to proceed into the middle of his legs, and my right leg is going to stretch itself out over here, just like so. When I go to do that, what I want to achieve is my chest being on top of his quad, just like so, or in the internal of his abductors. Reason why this is so important is I don't want to be the one using my hand to press this leg down to keep it here, because I'm just going to get comored. So I want my chest to be the one that's pressing down to keep his leg here, so he's staying on this left hip. And I'm going to use my right hand as a structure just to put it on top of his quad here, just to stop him from raising his knee upward, just like so, okay? From here, I want to keep my head up at all times, because a danger of being in this position is guillotines. If he starts to reach up and over my head for a guillotine, if my head is down and he can break my posture, I can get guillotined. So if my head is up and he goes for the same guillotine, if he cannot break the posture of my head, there is no guillotine, okay? From here, make sure that our left knee on this side is always staying up, okay? I don't want him taking his right leg out. When I get ready to pass, I'm taking my right toes and I'm flaring them, okay? I'm going to pivot off. That is going to allow me to take my knee up and to start passing over his knee, just like so. Once I pass over his knee, once again, it's not my hand that's pressing down. It's my knees that are pressing down. So as I press down with my knee, I'm going to shift him to the middle, and my hand that was just the structure on top of his quad is going to go to his hip. So from here, okay, my arms are in, okay, tight for inside position. This is going to give us opportunities for near side underhook in the future, okay? So please make sure that your arms are in tucked here when you get to the middle. From here, I'm going to take my head off to the center side. Notice that I did that as soon as I brought his legs to the middle, okay? This allows me to keep cross-body pressure. From here, my left leg is going to pummel. So I'm going to rotate my left leg to the left by keeping my knee in the floor. My heel comes to my butt, and I'm going to leg pummel around, just like so. That has now freed my left leg. But notice, his right butterfly hook is still in. So for me to pummel through this, what I need to achieve is not by bringing my left hip up. If I bring my left hip up, he's going to sit my butt on the floor and end up sweeping me. So instead, I don't bring my left hip up. I think about bringing my right hip up as I'm passing my left hip down. So we'll take a look at that one more time. So don't flex your left one. It is your right hip that is coming up, pulling your left hip down, and you're breaking the flexion of his toes. So you're just going to slide right on off his toes. And immediately once I get here, I'm already thinking about bringing that same leg that I just pummeled with into his hip pocket, just so I'm breaking the connection from his knee to elbow. And as I get here, as I mentioned previously, this arm here, if I'm dealing with any type of stiff arm from Jeremy into my hip or whatever the case may be, my hip, I can now proceed into a near side underhook and break that connection as I pass into a conventional side control. Now we're going to get into our bob and weave drill. This is going to help you troubleshoot against stiff arms. As we go and we pass with the smash pass, something that could naturally occur sometimes is you being low on your training partner's hips. And with all that space that's going to be in there, it's going to allow your training partner to have the stiff arms. So we are going to perform this from the default position once again, taking my head off. smash pass. As I get here, something that naturally happens, as I suggested, is stiff arms. And it's because the result of me being as slow as I am. When this happens, he's going to use the ability of the stiff arm to shove his hips out. That is when I take the inside of my arms, the bicep area, and I'm going to smash his knees down together. When I do this, it's going to pinch his knees together so I can make room to step up and over. As I go to do this, I can't just keep pushing into his arms. So we're not going to think about pushing in. What we're going to think about doing is pulling down and then in. So we still have that inside space there. My hand on the back, I'm wrapping around just like so, just keeping that hip IT. And what I'm going to think about doing now is leg pummeling to the back. When I achieve this, okay, my hips, once again, is pretty low, okay? So what I want to look for is getting my hips leveled or higher with his. So naturally, when this happens and you start to bob and weave, you're going to find yourself having to do this 2 to 3 times, depending on how well you can get your hips up by his as these are naturally taking place. So as he goes to stiff arm again, he strips out, and that's going to allow me to collect one more time. Same thing. I don't press in. I immediately press down and then in, just like so. That's going to give me another ability to pummel over. But now, this time, my hips are by his hips where I need them to be. My bottom side arm is going to reach under, and I'm going to grab this far side trap, just like so. This is going to give me the ability to keep him square. Meaning, for Jeremy to come and turn into me and proceed onto what he was naturally already doing twice by stiff arming me and pressing away. So when he goes to press away, he can only find that when he turns into me, that he can only do so from a squared position. He can't rotate any longer into me, okay? He can only go to his flat back. At that position, we can start stepping over and ending up into a low mount with kata katami. And he was being a great training partner. Maybe I get that up, but odds are I won't. He's gonna have his elbow in, and it's gonna set me up for kata katami on the same side. So now let's kind of talk about how we're gonna start intertwining our curriculum together. And this is a good section to go into great detail on how we're gonna do that. So please, if you haven't, go back and watch the near side underhooks so you can get a really good brief description on what's to occur here. After we get into our smash testing, we have a place to where we can attempt our smash pass like we did in the previous video, or we can go ahead and climb up into a near side underhook pass. So let's take a look at that. So we are going to be in default. I use my smash pass to get myself to the middle here, just like so. Something that I can use here is, number one, I can use the same principle of smash passing, just like I did with leg pummeling. But something that I can do now is, as I stated in our previous section, about keeping your arms in for inside space. Because now I have inside space between his elbows and his rib cage, okay? This is now going to allow me to start walking up so I can take advantage of this near side underhook that I have on this side here. And as I go to flare, I'm going to post my head on the far side of his shoulder here so that my shoulder is in the middle of his chin, just like we talked about into our essentials. From here, he has a hook, so I have my own hook, okay? Now we're going to go and troubleshoot over the half butterfly that we did in our previous section with the near side underhook. From here, I can simply start walking up and over the knee and passing into my mount and setting up my kata katami. So something that we are going to work into now is we are going to carry on the same lines as smash passing into a near side underhook. The only difference is there's an extra play that could be made by him, and that is a bridge. And a bridge can only be a result if my training partner, if you go flat, is if he has his hips or his feet by his hips and he goes to bridge up, he can perform a bridge. So we're going to kind of look at this because this can be a play by him that can end with me being swept. So I smash pass over. When I get to the middle here, my training partner can take his left foot and put it in the floor. Okay? So when I proceed up into a near side underhook, he can use that same leg and bridge into a sweep. So, however that variation may look. So what we want to do is we're going to abide by the same principles about slowing or killing a bridge, and we do that with a hook. So we get into our default. I smash pass over, and when I feel my training partner put that foot in the floor, and you'll be able to. And the reason why is because if he does a good job about posting that foot in the floor, I can't push my hips down. You'll feel like you won't be able to push your hips down. There's going to be a structure right behind your butt. When you feel that, we can just take that outside foot and hook it, just like so. Okay, leave your foot in the floor. So when I hook here, I can proceed up to here, right into my near side underhook pass with an elbow flared, head post, and a far side post, just like so. So we can use this as the same technique as we did with a hook, okay, on top side. But now we're actually hooking his shin here, okay. Same way, we can start passing up and over and proceeding into our